Okay, we're going to do problem 8-123, and our goal here is to prove that the two sides are equal. Remember that you need to justify the steps. I don't know if I'm going to have room to write out the justifications here, but I'm going to talk through them as I do the problem. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the left side of the equation in order to solve this. I'm solving everything in this direction. And I'm going to start with this idea that we know that tangent can be rewritten as sine over cosine, and then we know we're multiplying that by sine, and we know we were adding that to cosine. Be very careful in noticing addition versus multiplication here, especially when it comes to fractions. So the next thing that I'm going to do is to just rewrite this by multiplying. So sine times sine, or sine over 1, times sine over cosine. Sine times sine is sine squared. And 1 times cosine is just cosine. We're still adding that to the cosine of y. Now, on the other side, we have a single term. And on the left side, we still have two terms. And so if we want to rewrite this as a single term, we need to have a common denominator. We can write cosine of y over 1. That means our common denominator would have to be cosine. Since we already have cosine in this side, we don't need it, but we need to multiply this by cosine over cosine. And so we can rewrite that as a single term as cosine squared. Let's do it this color. Cosine squared by multiplying these two together, plus sine squared, all over the common denominator of cosine. Using the Pythagorean identity, we know that sine squared plus cosine squared, or cosine squared plus sine squared, is equal to 1. So we can now rewrite it as 1 over cosine of y. And then using reciprocal trig functions, we know that 1 over cosine is the same as secant. And that's what we have up here. So we would end our identity by saying the secant of y is equal to the secant of y.